DIY for the house. Now I have this little tree that I picked up at like Walmart or Target a few years ago, and it's one of those tinsel trees, and it had some lights on it, but the lights no longer work. So I'm cutting the lights off. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. The second thing I'm gonna do is, I no longer want it silver. I would like to have it gold. So I'm gonna experiment, because I had seen out shopping recently at an antique store that they had a tinsel tree and it was gold tinsel. And I just thought it was really pretty because I decorate a lot indoors with gold, and this is the perfect size tree for my home office. Go ahead and get the old lights off of it that came with it that no longer work, and get it ready to spray paint and see how well this tinsel will spray with gold. Now the base of this is just a plastic, and it was wrapped in this silver. And I think I can come up with something better that would be prettier. So come along with me for the DIY, and then also at the end we'll do a reveal and see how it looks, and I'll show you my home office. So come on guys, let's get started. So the first step on this project is getting the old cords off. Now each of these little pieces, each of these lights, they hooked a little piece of plastic, and those are kind of a hassle to get off. And so I first thought I could just go through and take them and unhook them. It was too time consuming. So I'm thinking just cutting them off would be quicker, this cord. So that's what we're doing. So share below in the comments, what are some projects for Christmas that you are DIYing this year? Do you have some good ideas for us? Because I like to repurpose stuff. I mean, something like this where the lights no longer work, a lot of people would just pitch it and be done with it. But I'm thinking, you know, once I seen that gold one, I don't know if I've seen like at big box stores when they had all the different colors of these. And I think they even have these still now, this season, where you could go get one of these little tinsel trees. But I don't think I've seen one in gold. I like to experiment. Now this may not work, but that's okay. We'll know if it does. Yes, these are the Fisker pruners that I was just showed you in my ideas for Christmas gifts. So these are the pruners that I have inside, and I use them for flowers mostly, but they're working good to cut these. They're very sharp. If you haven't watched that video yet, you'll want to check out the things that I found for Christmas gifts for the gardener in your life. I'll put a link below. It's supposed to get, I think, almost up to 40 today. So that being the case, I can spray paint outside. Yes, it would be better if it was warmer, but in Illinois, I don't have that option. And I don't like to spray paint inside in the garage or anything. It's just too fumey. And also spray paint, I don't know if I like to spray paint a lot, but I like to do it outside in the open area because it does put that fine dust over that spray paint all over everywhere. So it's definitely not an indoor project. Okay, the next step is let's take this outside, get us a piece of cardboard or a plastic bag or something to set this on, and let's start spray painting and see how well this takes to spray paint. The doorbell rang, and look what showed up at my house. Now this is not a sponsored video. I'd never heard of this company before, and these weren't sent by the company. Actually, a friend sent them to me, and so I didn't know what to expect when I opened the box. I didn't know if it was Decor, what it was. And you have got to see these guys. Look at the presentation of these. Now they do have to be taken out and put into water, but we have some gorgeous stock and roses, pincushion flower, some pretty berries, some evergreen. It smells wonderful. It looks just gorgeous. Guys, I started the spray painting and painted it all the first coat, and lo and behold, the camera did not pick it up. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the second coat on it so you can see what I'm doing. But here, let me show you what we've got so far. So it's turned out really well, and I also sprayed the black base. But now what we want to do is I want to flip it over, because if you can see underneath, it's still silver underneath. So I want to give it that gold color underneath, and I'm just going to hold on to it and spray it. And this is the Rust-Oleum Metallic Gold spray paint. And even though it's cold today, it's doing really good coming out of the can in the cold weather. Okay, let's let that dry and we'll check on it and see if it needs any more touch up on it. So it's another day now. I've let this dry and gave it time after I spray painted it. And also, it usually whenever you spray paint, it has a noticeable smell on whatever you spray paint. So I like to give it a little bit of time before bringing it inside so I don't bring that smell in too. So this has had time to air out and dry. It turned out really cute. I do want to tell you though, when I was out shopping, I went to an antique mall the other day, and I did see that they had a vintage gold tree. It was a little bit bigger than this, but it wasn't a full size, maybe 3 foot. And they were asking $65 for it. So if you have a tree already, or if you're out thrifting, or you can even still purchase some new at stores, you could spray paint it whatever color you want. So keep that in mind. If you find a good deal, but really don't like the color it is, try some spray paint. You may be surprised, and you can coordinate it then to whatever theme you want to do or whatever color scheme that you're doing this holiday season. So let me show you what I purchased, and then I also had things on hand as I decorate it here in my home office. And this is going to go on a little end table here, and I will show you that when we get all done. I was looking for some kind of ribbon that would go around this. Now, I don't really want like a Victorian tree. That's not the style that I'm going for. But let's see what we end up with. I found this really pretty brand new spool of ribbon when I was out the other day, and it was at a thrift shop, and they had the whole spool for 88 cents. So I thought that would be a pretty topper for our tree. And then when I was at Walmart, they had this pretty ribbon in the Christmas section, and the whole spool of it was $2.48. So I picked that up just in case. I wanted to use that also. I already had one strand of lights for it, and some of the other stuff I already had, which I don't, like I said, we'll have to see what we end up using. I have some pink silk flowers. I have some pearls that would be pretty on it for garland, and these are actual garland pearls that I got at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. I've got some pretty ornamental balls. I found these that I had in storage that are a bigger glitter ball. I don't know, I may use those somewhere else in the room for decoration, but they're not going to go on the tree. And then I picked these up new. I thought they were really pretty. I picked up 3 of those, and they were $3.99 a piece, snowflakes. And then when I was shopping at the thrift store, I found this really pretty pendant brooch and a cameo. And I like statues, and I like Roman type statues, as you know, from the garden. So this just reminded me of that with the lady on it. So I thought maybe I would do something with this, but I'm not sure what. So we'll have to see. Then I wanted some kind of base tree skirt to go on this. For my little end table. Now this would be, like I've told you outside, the gold would be fine. It's spray painted really nice and would look fine, but I want to dress it up a little bit. So when I was out thrifting, I had that in the back of my mind of what could I find to repurpose as a tree skirt. And this is what I found. And I think it'll work well. So it's a knitted infinity scarf that And I went ahead and washed it, and it's all nice. It was all nice and clean anyway. But so it's an infinity scarf that you would wear. But I thought it would make a really pretty tree skirt and match with the color scheme. So we'll see how that looks. Okay, so let's get decorating. The first thing that I want to do is I want to put my lights on it. And I have one strand of, and these are short lights which work perfect for a little tree. Because you don't want a huge long strand of lights. Now I also could have done like battery operated lights if I wanted to, but I already had these on hand, and this is what actually was on that I had added to this tree last year when I used it in the silver color. Do we want some of this ribbon on too? I don't think so. I think it would be too much. So we'll use the ribbon somewhere else. I think we will put the bow on now so we can see where to put the ornaments. Now I'm going to see this mainly just from the front of the tree by where I'm placing it in the corner. So based on that, I'm going to mainly be decorating just on the front of the tree because I'm not going to see it from any other angle. If I was putting it in a different area where I would see more, then I would. I think it looks good. Now the cameo. I had thought about taking the cameo and putting it on the bow at the top, and let me show you what I was thinking. But I don't think it's going to actually show if I do that. And place it on the table, get it plugged in, put the tree skirt on, and see what else we need to do. So once I got it over here, I decided to change it up a bit. I just didn't like the bow on top. It was just way too big for the tree, and it just seemed to engulf the little tree. So I do like it much better now. So let's take a closer look. So I ended up just putting a snowflake on top, a rhinestone snowflake, and I think that's really pretty. And then we have the other snowflakes and the ornaments throughout it. And then I took the bigger ornaments that I showed you and laid those just on the tree skirt, and then put the bow down below with the cameo as the center. So that's going to be really pretty throughout the day as I sit in the office and work at my computer. I like the poinsettia. I picked that up for $6.98 at Lowe's, and look how nice of a poinsettia that is. And it really goes with the theme in here. So if you're looking for poinsettias, check out your local Lowe's. That next to it is a jasmine that I picked up a couple years ago at Trader Joe's as a house plant. Now in Zone 5, we cannot keep jasmine alive year-round outside. So I just leave it inside. It grows, as you can see, really a lot. I'm constantly giving it hair trims, and I've repotted it about 3 times and upsized the pot. So it does really good as a house plant if you're looking for a pretty house plant. I pulled my geranium, my ivy geranium that I had outside. I thought I lost it because I didn't get it inside soon enough, and I cut it all the way down, and then it did come back over the last week or so. On top of the fireplace is a start that I did. I rooted that, and that's coleus, and it's doing really well right there with that south sun. The fireplace I picked up, it's electric, last year when I was thrifting after end of season, so like end of winter, and they had clearanced it. Not my color choice. I am going to paint it, but I just haven't had a chance yet. You'll notice I have my French chair from the garden house in here for winter, so I'll have more storage space out in the garden house to store some of the stuff that I don't want to leave outside all winter long. I also brought the chandelier that I did the DIY video on that I showed you. And my desk is a stand-up desk, so throughout the day I'll stand up and be able to see out my window, and then sometimes I'm sitting down, so it's very convenient. And when I purchased the desk, which is from Ashley Furniture, I purchased it online, I got the matching bookcase, and I'm so glad that I did, because the plants just love this south bedroom that I turned into a home office. But thanks for hanging out with me today and seeing the DIY on the Christmas tree that I did. And I think it really goes well in the office with all of my gold and pink. And I did it for a fraction of what it would cost to get a new one. So I'm real happy with that, and did a lot of repurposing of things I already had and just kind of got creative with it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one, guys.